And we
Show. Let's do it.
awesome, man. So how are you, Joseph? Talk to me, man.
Good, man. So, like I was saying, I've just started my new job about 2 weeks ago. I left Meta, and now I'm at a startup, and it's cool, man. Like I really like what I'm doing. It's just like a lot less employees with a lot of work. So, like I've been really busy these past 2 weeks, but it's all good, you know. Like I don't know, my life is very full with like work, and my girlfriend Ren moved in a couple months back, and that's going really well. And later on, I'm gonna go, like right after this, I'm gonna go out to like an early lunch with or an early dinner, I mean, with my dad, and he's gonna head back down south to Ensenada where he's working on a house. So
Oh,
yeah, just a lot of stuff going on. How about yourself?
everything's good. Just got off from work a little bit ago. Had some lunch and just getting situated with this thing, you know.
Yeah, is that
So
how you go out to work with the hat on and the shades?
the whole shebang, bro. Got to keep my neck protected, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So we ready to
Look fly too.
ready to rock?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Thank you for joining me in this situation here, and talking about the whole spiritual realm in life, you know. And I want to get your take. I've known you at least 4 or 5 years, and we both have been in different directions in terms of where we live, but on the same spiritual path. And so I would like to kick it off by asking you. You could just go ahead and introduce yourself and explain what the spiritual awakening, being spiritually awakened, what does it mean for you personally?
Man, what an opportunity. Yeah, so thanks for having me, buddy. My name's Joseph, and yeah, so when I think about spirituality, I have to track back to like when I was a little kid, because I was in private Christian school when I was like, I think starting at like 6 years old, and I did that for 10 years, and that meant Christian church 5 days a week at school, and so even the curriculum was Christian based, right? Like science is based on Adam and Eve's story, so that's the beginning of time. As far as history is concerned, and then also science was excluding the concept of evolution because it conflicts with the scientific like sort of history. And so I would also go to church on Sundays. My mom was in the choir at a church in Ventura, and so I would also go to Bible studies on Wednesday night. I did something called Awanas, which is kind of like it's a study group for kids to learn Bible scriptures. So I was really like familiar. I can probably still name all the books of the Bible. And I'm almost 35 years old now, so it's been 20 years plus. But I was just so deep into it. And then I strayed away like the prodigal son, and spent quite a few years just basically researching the world outside of like this Christian bubble I had been invited into the world in. And that sort of took me down the path of addiction, along with a lot of just trouble. Like had a hard time I just had a hard time like sort of fitting in. I think like I didn't really know where to fit. I didn't really know what I wanted. I just knew that I was very curious, I guess, because like growing up I was sort of told not to do a lot of things, basically. You know, like Christianity can be very constricting, like it's got a lot of rules. Yeah, my mom was like a very much a rule follower, so it sort of like just motivated me to really head the other direction, and I went pretty far. You know, I was pretty curious, I guess, and I eventually got into drugs and alcohol, and like that started me down this just dark path. So yeah, I think, you know, like spirituality has been like this, I don't know, it's like my whole life sort of revolves around the idea of, you know, this journey that I've been through of like investigation and like you know, so spirituality for me has just been like this process of learning about myself and what I want, what makes me feel right, I guess, what makes me feel good inside. And I'm still not 100% sure what that is, to be honest. Like, I'm still trying to figure that out, you know?
Yeah. Gotcha, man. Awesome. So what are some of the challenges you face in your life that that throw you off your spiritual being? And what do you do to recalibrate to get back into balance of life?
I think I give a lot to other people and to other things. Like right now, I'm giving all my time to work. And because of that, I am basically distracted like all the time. And it works for me to a certain extent, but there's got to be a recalibration that happens, right? And that I've sort of been putting that off. You know, I think working from home, writing code, like it allows me to sort of isolate and and sort of obsess over like goals. And you know, before long, I can sort of deprioritize sort of that mental health, spiritual health type stuff, because at the end of the day, I'm working very hard to get. You know what I mean? And that's just sort of the mode I've found myself in ever since COVID started, basically, where my career, if you will, sort of like really ramped up. So yeah, I think that's sort of something that I'm going to be dealing with for a while. I seem to just obsess over work, and everyone sort of gives you that's the thing, is everyone will sort of go like, yeah, go for it, because everyone's sort of working. So it's not like this very noticeable. There's not a lot of accountability, I feel, you know, like productivity and contributions are probably the main concern in the world I'm in. So yeah, it just sort of, it's up to me. And I've been slacking on that, you know, which is why I was like, dude, I'll do this with you, buddy, because like this is such a nice opportunity for me to just give myself some time. So
Awesome.
did I answer that?
Yeah, no, you did
I feel like I
answer.
rambled. Okay.
No, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge, right? I think everybody has obsession towards something in some level or the other, but this is definitely healthy, and it's also for therapeutic for both of us to speak about these things. At the same time, opportunity kind of helps someone who is struggling, or not even struggling, just possibly seeking the spiritual way of life, you know? So just to put it into perspective, what do you think the benefits are, right, of what would be the benefits of putting spirituality priority before, for example, job, women? What's the advantages, and or there could be disadvantages? What's your perspective on that? I think spirituality first in your life.
Well, tell me this, bro. When I pause after a long day of work, let's say my girlfriend comes home and I'm feeling grumpy, and I pause and I take my time, would you consider that spirituality?
When you're pausing?
Or is that when I pause, say I go to my room, take 30 minutes to calibrate, come back out, would you consider that spirituality, or is that just like common sense? Or because I feel like I do practice that in my day-to-day, but I don't know if that's anything special. You know what
Honestly,
I mean? Like, I think it's a self-awareness, but yeah.
Taking a break from anything that's overwhelming or not is very spiritual, in my opinion, right? Because you're going back to recalibrating again, like we were talking about before, to get back into the moment and disconnect for a minute before you could go back and reconnect. I always think that's completely healthy, because now when you take that break, you're bringing a different element of existence back into the situation, right? Like they said, when paused, when agitated, you know.
Yeah.
There's a triple R. I forgot what it's called. It's retreat. Retreat. What was the middle one?
I know I've heard this. I just can't remember. Is it reflect or
Reflect and then return.
it's reflecting?
Yes, thank
Reflect
you
and
for
return.
finishing
Okay.
that off. Yeah. So same
Yeah,
concept. I think that is a good element of spirituality to practice, you know?
I love that because I learned that from not just spiritual people, right? Like I've done, and so it makes me wonder, like, what is sort of where that spirituality sort of begins and ends? Because like I learned a lot of my sort of self-control in therapy with a woman that doesn't she doesn't associate with a spiritual practice. Or actually, you know what, I take that back. I think she would sort of like vibe with things like spirituality. So maybe, yeah, I think the way I sort of practice my day to day, being that I do put myself in a lot of like stressful situations, I think
Looks like we lost the
I'm
connection.
practicing spirituality just around me. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, your connection's a little choppy. So let
Okay.
me